Jeannie,
Yes.
where are we going? What's the deal here?
We're going to go on a small tour of the United States of Absinthe.
The United States.
And believe it or not...
Did you write that one down?
No, that just came to me.
Aloha, children of the night, and welcome to another episode of the Tiki Goth Club. Today I am with my good friend Jeannie, essentially my personal absinthe
Tour.
Expert. Yeah, I'm gonna. I think that's apt. And today we have a guest with us, Heather Pleasant, a la Whitco fame, and her husband, who's back there in the back. I don't know if you can see him or not.
Oh, no.
He's not. He only drinks one type of alcohol, and that's Coors Light. But Heather's a little open to other things, and we were talking about trying some absinthe. And you're like, yeah, I think I might be interested in that. I'm thinking like, all right, cool. We've done a couple different episodes on absinthe before. We did one was kind of like a...
Welcome to Absinthe.
Yeah, Welcome to Absinthe 101. Then we went through like the Jade Liqueur absinthes. Those are French. And today we're going to stay in the good old US of A.
Because you said something that, they probably don't make any good absinthe in the USA. Oh, yes, they do.
Yeah, and there's several of these. There's a lot here.
That whole ring there around the lady.
And this might actually kill us with alcohol poisoning. So if this is the last video you ever see, you'll know the reason
You'll know
why.
I killed Ray.
Before we go, I want to ask you something though. Like, well, do you like to taste the black liquor?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, good.
All right, cool.
I love
because if you don't, then
It's not going to work.
This ain't really going to work.
I've got them by region, and believe it or not, I don't know if it's that the Pacific Northwest has such poor weather that we have such great distilleries.
Yeah.
But surprisingly, a number of really good ones come from up here. And so,
Really?
Yeah, I've got 3 out of Oregon. I've got 1 from Seattle, from just outside Seattle, Washington, from Woodinville. And then we have some surprises from other parts of the United States. We have Colorado, we've got Philadelphia, we've got Boston. Boston, yeah. And
Is that your Boston accent?
no, that's Paquican Avidyad. Yeah. So I went to school in Boston. And,
That means this absinthe's going to taste like Dunkin' Donuts. Everything that you're saying, these are all that radically different. Okay.
yeah. So the nice thing about absinthe is that beside the wormwood and the anise itself, the fennel and the black licorice flavors, the absinthe vert is a palette that you can paint with all different colors of herbal ingredients. So
As long as that color's green, right, Jeannie?
Yes, if it's a green herbal, you get to add it in, and it can considered part of the absinthe palette. So hyssops and fennels and sometimes baking spices make it in. All different flavor notations get put in alongside. So each individual person who develops an absinthe gets to put their own sort of stamp on it. So they're all taste like black licorice, but they're all black licorice twisted with something else.
Interesting.
So I was going to start us in Oregon.
So is this going to be the first one here?
Yeah.
Haint.
This is hard to find. I have to have somebody in Oregon purchase it for me and send it up. There's different kinds of ghosts, right? So this is not a revenant. This is a haint. So a revenant is a nasty, a vengeful spirit left behind. A haint is more like, Auntie's up in the attic making her rocker go again.
A friendly haunt.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about ghosts.
Yes. So that's named for a ghost.
I thought you were talking about spirits as in like alcohol.
Shall we make up some haint? There's a process, a culture that goes with absinthe, and it comes with its own toys. So there's special glasses that you drink absinthe out of.
Yeah, so what you got going on is you got the glass. And
the glasses are special.
That's usually an ounce right there.
Yes.
You're going to be using an ounce of absinthe.
You usually try for an ounce to an ounce and a half if you're a lush.
And then you...
And then
I'm not judging here.
And then you have an absinthe spoon.
So you put the absinthe
it sits on
spoon.
top. And then you have your absinthe sugar, and you can either order fancy absinthe sugar, and I'll hold up Le Maison Absinthe Company sugar, or my personal favorite, Domino sugar, because the people in New Orleans who've been grinding the sugar and setting up these sugar cubes really know what they're doing, and they melt perfectly. So it's fun to have the label and stuff like that, but I actually find that Domino does it.
Okay.
And then what we're gonna
job.
do is we're gonna put this underneath the fountain, and it's gonna drip water on top
Through the sugar.
through the thing, and then it's gonna slowly mix with the absinthe. And then
So the absinthe goes in first.
yeah, the
Yes.
absinthe's already gonna be in there, and then you're gonna add the water mixing with the sugar to it. And what happens is you're gonna see that the see-through green is going to change milky,
Oh.
Called a loche.
called loche.
Okay.
And then when it comes to how much water to add, it's to taste. But what we're gonna trust your
So
judgment
absinthe to the line, and then
Water
water
to
to
taste.
your discretion.
to your discretion.
Yes.
So
Okay.
yeah, and what would you say, like 3 parts water to 1 part absinthe?
At least.
Or
I
maybe
like
more.
mine a little more water than that. I usually like 4 ounces of water to 1 of absinthe at least. I find that it opens it up quite a bit more. You don't get that burn of the I'm drinking really high proof alcohol on the back of your throat, and you can taste the flavors a lot better. Votre santé. And I guess someone left a note on the site that because we were like, well, I know this is what they say, but I can't exactly remember. It's something like cheers, and it was to your health.
To your health.
To your health.
Very grassy, very
Very, very easy to trick.
Smooth.
You can, even more than tasting the wormwood, because usually that wormwood, it muscles its way to the top and kind of smacks you in the jaw first. More than that, with this one, I'm picking up the other herbals. I think the absinther who made this really did a nice job. There, you can individually taste. You can actually pick up the Damiana, which is, it's an unusual herb, and I can pour you a glass
I
of the
would
Damiana liqueur.
recognize either wormwood
And it
or...
really is, it's different. It really sticks out. So that's a really interesting choice to use the Damiana. And the fennel pollen is very interesting. So,
What do you taste, Ray? Does it taste different?
Well, the interesting thing about this one, out of the other ones that I've drank, is that usually there's more of a loche, so it's usually like more milky and tastes as such. This is very clear and clean tasting. It's very crisp,
Light.
yeah, it
Yeah.
did not really loche much.
but the taste of it is very like it's very precise. Very like this goes down very, very easy, real easy.
It's almost like they've lined up all the little herbs on the shelf, and you could taste each of the herbs in it.
Yeah.
I just like it. I don't
Did
know.
you like it?
I don't know what to look for because the only absinthe I've had is mixed in other drinks.
Now,
So-
in the old tiki drinks and old man cocktails of the turn of the century,
Yeah.
you'd get a rinse on a glass, or it's that secret ingredient hiding
Yes.
behind everything else. The next spirit is also from Oregon, and it's called Oregon
Good
Spirit.
Spirit.
So, votre santé.
What she said.
Much more bitter.
I don't know if I like
You can
this one as
pick up
much.
the wormwood. So that bitter.
I
Is that what
wouldn't
that
know
bitter
to
is?
recognize. I wouldn't know what wormwood tasted like. But
So that
much
bitter
better.
that you're feeling, that's the wormwood.
Yeah, this one's a little more harsher to drink than the other one.
I like it more.
You like your bitter?
Oh, you like this more? See, I like the first one better.
I liked the other one. It was refreshing, but I like
This
the
one
flavor
has
on this.
a nice aroma. It has a very nice aroma. It's not too weak, too strong. It has a very pleasant, sort of interesting, enjoyable aroma over the top.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of this one. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Everybody gets their opinion.
Yeah, this is...
Because,
I mean, I can tell it's like a well-made absinthe, but if that's what I'm tasting, that wormwood, it's just too much for me.
there is a significant amount of wormwood in this.
What is wormwood?
It is Artemisia. You might have actually seen some in your garden. It is a beautiful silver plant that if you went to a garden store, they would call Artemisia.
Fuzzy?
Yeah.
Fuzzy leaf?
Yeah, fuzzy leaf.
Okay.
And
what this tastes like a little bit to me? Dandelion greens.
Yeah, I can see that. The Artemisia originally was used as a purgative. So if you had worms, you went for wormwood. So, but yes.
I like how you said that, Jeannie. Wormwood.
But yes.
Now say it from the Wicked Witch of the Wormwood, my pretty.
No, it's a wormwood, my precious.
Fly, fly.
No, that's fly, my pretties, fly.
Yeah, we're not even getting rid of it. All right.
So, this was actually one of the things that originally got me into absinthe.
It is.
We were down in Astoria,
Yeah.
and originally, this distillery's gone through a number of names. And we were in Astoria, doing what you do in Astoria, which is eating seafood, hanging out with the locals, going over to the national park and seeing where Lewis and Clark were making salt.
I thought you were going to say go check out all the Goonies filming locations.
And we did do that, and there used to be a film museum that had Goonies props and stuff in it. And just down the street from that, in a cool old building, was a distillery. And they made absinthe among their offerings. And I was like, oh, well, I've had some of that, and it's really pretty good. Why don't we try this one and see how it goes?
Yeah.
And it was fantastic. And
so this was the one that got you into it.
This is the one that got me drinking American ones. Votre santé.
Well, I like that one a lot more than the. I can still taste the wormwood. It's definitely present.
Yeah.
But this one feels more balanced. It feels like there's a lot more taste going on, different flavors. Although outside of, I don't know what I'm tasting though.
I pick up a lot of mint in this one.
Oh, yeah.
I do. Lemon balmy.
Yeah, actually, yeah, mint.
So lemon balm is Melissa officialis. I get that quite a bit. I pick up a kind of peppery note off of this one.
There is a little hotness to it.
I very much like this one. I think the blend of the mint and the hyssop is really nicely balanced. So you get the grassy kind of hyssopy flavor, and then you've got that nice, clean sort of spearminty finish.
Yeah, the more you talk about the mint, the more it comes out.
Pepper and mint.
What do you think about this one, Heather?
I like it. It's smooth, more smooth than the last one. Definitely not.
It's definitely the most
bitter, and I pick up the mint and the peppery flavor.
Do you like this one better than the last one, or do you like the last one better than this one?
I don't know. They're just different.
They're just different, yeah.
I like them both.
Yeah.
I liked the first one too, but I think it was a good one to start with because it was so mild.
There's a reason I started in Oregon.
Yeah.
It was definitely mild. Absolutely.
Easy. It's just kind of
very easy to drink.
Yes.
It's not a complex creature. I kind of think of him as, a family spook instead of, a complex tortured spirit, So that's one of the reasons I like Haint. But this Columbia, I think, has a lot of sophistication.
Yes.
It's balanced, it's herbaceous and clean, but it has kind of like that extra bit. I wish there was more of a loche because that's kind of sexy, but I really think the flavor in Columbia is very nice.
I agree with you completely. Loches are sexy. The next one is from the not too far away from your home.
Yeah, this is super.
Oh, it's a Cedrolli absinthe.
Close, Woodinville.
It's Woodinville.
That's quite a
That was this
Oh,
closer
it's a lot.
closer to my home.
It's a
than
lot
our
closer
house.
than Oregon.
For Washington drinkers, this is a very easy one to find. It's in multiple locations, multiple liquor stores, and multiple chains. So Pacifique has got a good distribution and pretty simple, pretty easy to find.
And the owner actually will do little tours and stuff like that. It's not a very big place, but
Where is Woodinville?
it's like
It's
north of here.
east and north of Seattle.
Bothell, Woodinville.
Oh, okay.
And I can tell you this one's going to be definitely a lot different than the other three. So I'm curious to see what
All
you
right.
think.
I'm excited.
All right, let's
So
try
let's make some up. If you hold this one up to the light,
Oh, look at
you can
that.
see what they're talking about when they talk about an opal essence. This is a beautiful and
Yes.
sexy loche. Good job, Pacifique.
Sexiest loche.
Potrasante. Oh, that's a good product.
Yeah.
Was this the one with the secret ingredient, or was that the last one? I'm losing track of time.
Don't worry, you'll lose track of more than that. Hang out with
The
us
other
a
one
little
had
bit longer.
the other one had mint in it.
Yeah,
This is just as you were saying. This is a different wormwood, so you can.
This is Roman wormwood, and then the other thing that's really nice in this is there is a baking spice in it. There's cardamom, and it's nice.
This reminds me more of Lucid.
It does.
Lucid has a taste like this.
Yeah, Lucid does have a kind of baking spice sort of feel to it. Though this one seems to have a little bit more green, I think, than the Lucid.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
More herbaceous, a little bit more herbaceous.
But this is what do you?
lemon balm.
You have a weird face on you.
Kind of.
What are you thinking?
I'm not sure. Reminds me of some kind of bark. I don't know why.
Rough, like that kind of bark.
No. This is Whitco. This is.
Oh.
If she's talking about bark, she's talking about cedar.
I don't know.
Reminds you of cedar.
It reminds me of baking or cinnamon bark, or it leaves a dryness in your mouth. I don't know. I like it. Every time, it's my new favorite. I'm
Interesting.
kind of sad that I took such a small amount.
So our next candidate,
Yes.
this is a pretty famous one, St. George. You will find this on the shelves of Total Wine and many, many locations.
Yep, I've seen this around.
This is from Alameda, California.
Alameda.
San Francisco area.
One of my favorite tiki bars is there.
Yes.
Forbidden Island.
Love them.
Hey, Michael.
But this does not taste like your average. Remember I said one of them, it looks kind of rosy colored because of
Yes.
the herbs they picked. This one, you'll notice, also does not look particularly green
No.
because it has
Good.
meadowsweet
I
and
thought-
stinging nettles and
Ooh.
tarragon.
This doesn't look very green at
So
all,
it's
actually.
more of a honey amber color.
Okay.
My
So-
mom would probably like this.
So let's give this one a shot.
Stinging nettles.
Okay, let's make up some St. George. Lots of opal. Look how sexy that loche is. That is really pretty. That's like at the jelly opal. I know it. I should have put on my jelly opal for this so we could compare. But that
What?
looks like an
you
Australian jelly opal.
go get it.
That's really beautiful.
I know.
Cheers.
When I think of the word,
Both of us
I
sound
tell you
like
what, when
that.
I think of the word sexy, this is the color I think of.
Oh, that's lovely. This one is
Okay.
quite famous.
All right, hands down, so far, this is my favorite. Easily.
Most licorice.
Easy.
He's an expensive drunk.
Yeah, I
You
know.
know. It's like you with the
Easily.
Peru.
Easily. And I appreciate it very much. It sits on my countertop and never goes
It never goes away.
never goes away.
Smooth.
It is lovely. The balance on this, Lance Winters. Nice
Yeah,
job.
Lance Winters, if you're watching this video, I just want to say
Nice job. The
excellent job
tarragon,
on your
The
absinthe.
meadowsweet. Ooh.
This
nice.
is no, seriously.
Nice. This
I mean,
is
the Pacific,
really
the
good.
Pacific is awesome. That's
It
great. This is, I think, so far, this is my favorite.
Me too.
And I'm not just saying it because it's
This
the
is-
last one I drank.
It's nice. It's It really slides over the palate
Man, this
nicely,
is good.
fills the mouth, tactile. Remember how when we were tasting the ones from France, where we talked about it clinging to the... Do you don't remember that?
It was all a blur.
You don't remember that?
It was all a blur.
So remember we talked about it clinging to the top of the palate?
Yes.
In some of them that were really, really fine.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of the first of the Americans where it really clings to the top of the palate, really sings through your sinuses and talks to you, but doesn't harm you. It's not after you with a bludgeon.
Hold on,
but
wait.
it has a really fine finish.
Let's see what this is saying to my Let's see what this is saying to my senses.
Is it this one?
You're getting sick, Ray.
It's St. George.
This one.
I be honest with you, I didn't know what to expect because I've seen St. George around. In fact, it's pretty much one of the very few bottles I see available. Mm-hmm. But I am impressed with this one so far. I think it's great.
It is a beautiful, beautiful expression. They did a nice job.
Yeah.
And the loche, very sexy. Very sexy loche.
We're all about the sexy loches.
We are. Now we've moved on to Leopold Brothers Absinthe Vert. This is 130 proof, just so that, you know, when we say a bottle of absinthe costs starting about $65, that's because there's so much alcohol in that bottle and you water it down so much that it's actually not as expensive as you might think. But if you collect them like I do with Dachshunds and tiki things and mugs and absinthe, you know, you can end up with a lot of them taking up the bric-a-brac in your house, and they can become very pricey. But if you find one after tasting a bunch you really like, your bottle will last a long time. Do we need the bottle so they can tell who we're talking about?
No, we're the ones that are getting drunk, not them.
All right. So this is Leopold Brothers. And this loche, this is so creamy. It looks like it could be a ghost in a sheet. It is, you know, white. It's really, really, really thick as a loche goes.
And on the sexy scale, where would this be at?
Not quite as sexy as St. George, but...
Missing the opalescence.
Missing the opalescence, but pretty damn sexy for how opaque your glass is.
You can't even see through it. You can't even see through it.
That is a very interesting flavor.
That is great, though. There's one, you're right, there's one flavor that I'm tasting, but I don't know exactly what that is. It's a little bit of a sting. Is that the wormwood?
Your bitter's going to be your wormwood.
Finish.
And your dry finish. But there's a lot of hyssop in this. You know, the anise hyssop.
Maybe that's what
when
it is.
When you're walking through an herb garden and you bump into anise hyssop and you hit those lavender flowers, it gives you this really dry anisey smell that's more green, almost like an angelica. This is what smells like it to me. And remember, this is the one where they did not divulge most of the herbals that they put in it. They only said hyssop and I think lemon balm.
This is definitely...
Delicious.
There's definitely more herbals in it. That's definitely a little bit more. There's a lot more going on with this one than the St. George. The St. George had like one taste and here it is.
Do you like this?
For me,
I do.
It's not quite as...
For me, the
I
St.
do.
George had a lot more dancing
I do, but
flavors.
I think I like the St. George a little bit better.
This one to me tastes Swiss. This tastes more like the Swiss style than the French style. When you had a bunch of flavors dancing around the glass, you have a really French expression. And this one to me is more hooded, more undercover. And then later, but this one also clings to the top of your mouth, like the high quality St. George. Next on our list is from Boston. Distilled in Cuvert, Switzerland, but handled through it's a 1902 recipe from Boston, which is why I've included it. This is once again recreating an antique. So they took an original bottle and an original recipe and were able to hand it off to a Swiss absinthier to recreate an American absinthe from the time. Votre santé. This is Butterfly. This is the 1902 Boston recipe.
All the way from Boston.
But produced in Switzerland. but we included it because it's a historical American recipe.
Let's try it.
Very complex.
Yeah.
It really reminds me of the really nice ones from Combier, from Swiss, from Saumur, and nice and complex. Lots of stuff going on in there. The loche is
There's like a spice, like
yes,
Spicy.
and I don't know what that spice, that heat is. It's almost like,
I
pepper.
just feel
is it pepper?
I'll bet it's pepper, and not like pepper the spice, pepper the mint, because almost all of the other ones we've had, the mint in them has been spearmint, and this one is peppermint, and so peppermint has that more forward snap on the front, giving it its name, and it would be more forward in your glass. Also, the loche on it is not as opalescent as St. George, which I think for loches, for sexy loche, to me, the winner is the St. George so far. That one does look just like a jelly opal. It's perfect. It's beautiful.
But this loche is great too, though.
This one's really close. You've got some color. You've got some nice opalescence on the edges. When you tip your glass into the light, you can pick up some opal colors. But it's much more of, I would say, a spook. You know, it's got more of a sheet on it, like it's going to be a ghost walking down the hall. This butterfly has got a really nice, complex nose, where if you just parked your snooter over the glass for a while and inhaled, you would get a lot of action, a lot of interest going on.
Yeah, so anyone out there, if you're going to try this absinthe, make sure you get your snooter
park your
right
snooter.
underneath that.
Park your snooter.
Drinking with Jeannie.
When you have our fearless leader start talking about her nose as just snooter, I'd say we have gone on a journey, but we have one more stop before things completely fall apart. So we're going to go from Boston to Philadelphia.
We are, well, you know, my Pennsylvania friend.
I'm from PA, so
I had to save the Pennsylvania one for last.
so what is this?
Now, what's funny is this is out of Pennsylvania, but it's an homage to New Orleans.
There's an homage to Boston.
No, so when I was in New Orleans, I try to speak French whenever I can because, you know, you have to keep in practice because it's a tough language. And we were in a taxi cab, and I really wanted to go to the French Quarter, so I asked them to please take me to the Vieux Carré. And the taxi driver turned around and looked at me and said, "What, woman? What are you talking about?" And I was like, "The Vieux Carré. I want to go to the old court." "Oh, sweetheart, you want to go to the Vieux Carré?"
And you're like, yeah.
Got
That's
it.
where I want to go.
That's where we're going. So
The
we went to
Vieux
we went to the Vieux Carré. And so this is an homage to New Orleans from Pennsylvania. And it's another one of those where if you turn the bottle just a little bit, you'll see they very carefully monitor this one. It's batch distilled, and you'll get the number of the batch that you're drinking on the label up at the top.
Oh yeah.
There.
What batch are we drinking?
So we should make this one. What batch are we drinking?
9597. That loche is definitely a lot different.
Yeah. Okay, so we're talking about Vieux Carré. Vieux Carré Absinthe Superior is a product of Philadelphia Distilling. These are the guys that brought you Blue Coat Gin. So they use a Scottish copper pot still. So this is a individually batched product. Every batch is going to be slightly different, but right on spec for what
I can smell it
That's what I was going to try to tell you.
I can smell
So
from here.
this one has a whole herbal bill that goes with it, with what's going on inside this glass. So it is gorgeous. It is Grand Absinthe. It's green anise, star anise, sweet fennel, Roman wormwoods. You've got two kinds of anise, of wormwood in it.
Yeah.
Lemon balm, hyssop, spearmint, yenipe. Yenepi is a bitter from Switzerland. There is actually a Yenepi bitter itself that's used as aperitif in France. This one is what's called a double maceration. So twice they instill this with the herb products that you're going to pick up on it. This thing is so fine it could be a VSOP cognac. It is just beautifully produced. So I try not to play favorites. But I must.
Well, I have a feeling that I have a feeling that you're biased towards this one, Jeannie.
Me too.
But I must admit that of all of the American absinthes I've ever tried, this one I go back to over and over, and I have drained more than one bottle of it out of my vast collection. So I have a collection of probably more than 30 kinds of absinthe. And this is the bottle I have to replace the most of all of the American absinthes.
Okay, enough talk. Let's drink.
Votre Santé. And if you look this one in the light, you have to get it right up on the light. But you will see that, like the St. George, it looks just like
It is.
a jelly opal. It is a treasure in a glass.
Wow, this is on a different plane than the others.
There is a reason I saved this one for last. Amazing job. Philadelphia Distilling, you are awesome. Your Vieux Carré is amazing. The flavor, and it gives you
fills your whole
that
palate,
whole
too.
mouth. It goes up to your palate and it climbs all around your mouth and goes
Exactly.
up into your sinuses, and you can feel the herbals there. Instead of the pain of alcohol, you're feeling essence. They did a really fantastic job on this.
Great job, Philly.
I thought you'd be happy.
I just have that Elton John song in my head. Philadelphia Fever.
So even though we are a little toasted, I
little?
feel that you can tell the
little?
quality in this particular
Yes.
one.
A little?
Just a little.
Well,
But I had to prove to you when you said, oh, the American absinthe can't be any good. I had to show you that there are some out there that are really fantastic.
yeah.
Please enjoy drinking them. Please enjoy finding them. Vieux Carré, I believe, is easily available through Total Wine or online and in many liquor stores. So search it out. You'll really like it.
Yeah, thanks for taking us on this journey across America through absinthe. Who would have known? Heather,
Thank you.
what are your
you're
closing
welcome.
thoughts on these absinthes? What do you think? Well, first of all, do you like absinthe? Are you a
Yes.
fan? Are you not? Or
I'm still a fan. It's interesting to learn that we have it right here, and they're all delightful. But this was definitely my favorite. This last one. I'm gonna invest in a bottle, I think.
Awesome.
Yeah, and hopefully Ken will share it with me.
We'll have to see if we can beat out Coors Light for just like a romantic dinner for two over candlelight.
you know, it's a small glass. I think he can.
you'll be
it.
doing the absinthe pouring, and then he's just with a
There will be no
Can-
abstinence.
a can of Coors Light. That'll be a romantic evening up in Cedar Willie.
Paint is what we're starting with, and it's by Dogwood Distilling. And I will pull up my magic box here, and we will.
I'll just call it a cell phone, Jeannie.
Cell phone, yeah, my magic box. Okay, so
Your magic box. Yeah, Heather's gonna go home. She's like, yeah, so Jeannie calls her cell phone the magic box.
well, you know, it goes with all that dirty R&B I've listened to. You know, they are anise, fennel, grand wormwood. They're extra botanicals as listed, and you know they always leave one out because it's a proprietary recipe. It's like squeaking out of the monks
Right.
what's in Benedictine. They have lemon. Yeah, you're never
What
gonna
does that mean?
you're never gonna find out what's in chartreuse or what's in Benedictine. It's just not
Squeaking
happening.
out of the monks.
Yeah, squeaking out of the monks. All right. So this is
Talk. God damn.
1 ounce is going to give you your cocktail before dinner.
Yes.
So they do last quite a while.
We need to
Especially
go
if you keep
on a-
collecting them.
Well, I've always said, Jeannie, if you ever need help working through any of these, I'll be more than happy to come up.
Oh yeah, steaks and absinthe. I'm in for it.
Steaks and Absinthe. That's going to
Oh,
be my new
definitely.
restaurant that I open up.
I'm
So just
too
give her a
sexy
little bit.
for my loche. Too
little
sexy
bit.
for my loche.
Who would have thought? San Francisco. Mission-style burritos, Ghirardelli chocolate, and St. George Absinthe. I don't know. I'm not saying that's going to be in it. So you may be asking yourself, how can I join the Tiki Goth Club? Well, there is no membership. There are no fees. Well, things have changed. For $15, you can become a member of the Tiki Goth Club. What does $15 get you? It gets you your own membership card with your own number. You also get a couple stickers and a pin. I also have shirts for sale. These are $20, $5 shipping and handling. And I also have hoodies for sale that go for $40, $10 shipping and handling. If you're interested in any of this, go to my website, tikiwithray.com, and there's a tab that says Tiki Goth Club. Just click on that, and all the information you need is there.